There is a need in our community for a universal change. And it has to start with the man. Being a man of God means being a man possessed of the knowledge, the spirit, and the power of God, anointed to do his will. To build a people, you first must make every man, no matter what his color, no matter what his race, every man, in order to be a man, must be a man of God, or he's not a man at all. Let us make man.
All right, greetings everyone. How's everyone doing? This is your brother Supreme X family, CEO of Part Money Network, and let me get my green room ready. So listen, family, we apologize for the late start, but this is our separation of independence broadcast that we strive to do every Thursday night. So what we're going to deal with today, we have a powerful message for you today, but let me open up in the proper manner. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, who appeared to us in the personage of Master Fard Muhammad, the great Mahdi, the Son of Man, who the world had been looking for and had predicted to come, who all the prophets that you find in the Bible, in the Holy Quran, told us that God was going to come in person, right? We understand that. We knowing that that was a prediction by the prophets, and we can't make them out to be liars. And he came to us and appeared to us in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, the one who you see behind me right here. And he came and he raised up who? So we thank Allah for coming and intervening in our affairs, because now we can't be fooled now. Now we have the knowledge of self. Now we have the nation of Islam in the West. Now we have supreme wisdom. And now the Satan, the man that has enslaved us and wreaked havoc in our community and took away from us our knowledge, our God, our religion, our culture, our language, is now fully exposed. And we thank Allah for giving us what? He gave us a man. He gave us the first begotten of the dead, that when you read the New Testament, that wasn't no Jesus from 2,000 years ago. He wasn't the first begotten of the dead of who? He knew who his people was. He knew his language. So how was he dead? See, that was about a prophetic man. See, the Most Honorable Muhammad is the first begotten of the dead. Who are the dead? We are the dead in North America. We've been robbed from everything that connects us to being a civilized, independent, free nation. So the Most Honorable Muhammad was the first man to be raised from that condition and be put up on the top of the junk pile and just be cleaned off and shined up. And he was just to show us what is inside of each and every one of us if we will submit to righteousness, which is the will of Allah, and the black man will be resurrected and we be restored. See, he was restored. And that's why you saw him do what he did, and you saw him do what? Leave in 1975. And then approximately 30 months later, his spiritual son stood up and rebuilt the work of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad that it took the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad 40 years to build. But for nearly 3 years, the work of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was dead, washed away by the federal government, and hypocrites in the nation of Islam. But the faith of one man, who we going to listen to tonight, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. It took the faith of one man to stand up and rebuild the work. So open up your Bible in the New Testament where Jesus say, I'm going to destroy the temple and build it back in 3 days. And then you had the disciples saying, how would you build it back in 3 days? It took 40 years to build this. That's the power of the divine supreme being. Right? So the work of the Most High Muhammad was destroyed for 3 days, 30 months. And then he came back in the form of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And the minister rebuilt and established the nation to where we are here today. And we are still talking about these two men. And you have a message to the black man in your hand. Fall to America, the works. You got the final call, which is just a more advanced illustration of Muhammad Speaks. Why? Because Islam's supposed to advance everything. See, you ain't following the right Islam or submitting to the Lord of the world if your Islam and we see no advancement in your life. Something wrong with that, Miss Islam. You doing some Islam. Right? You ain't doing Islam. Because Islam is advancement to everything. So if we were still selling Muhammad Speaks in the form that it was sold and illustrated 40, 50, 60, 70 years ago, there wouldn't be no Islam. Because that wouldn't be advancement. But now we have it. And we also have it in digital form. So before we get into part 2, where we're going to try to finish up the lecture that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan did in Newark, New Jersey, right, at the Symphony Hall, if I'm not mistaken, we're going to show the rest of this and try to finish this lecture out. And then next week, we're going to go into something new, another lecture, because we got a lot of stuff that we want to show from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and that's what we're going to start showing. But before we do this, we want to always go into the digital final call. See, now we have the final call digital, and we have it in a better form than what it used to be. So this issue here is very powerful. This issue here is exposed as a false friend. See, America used the Afghanistan people, used bin Laden them to do what? To help destroy the Soviet Union when they went to war with Russia in the Cold War. Y'all didn't know that, did it? But America turns on all of their allies. America only has one friend. Well, really two. But England and America is really the same. England's just a big brother, then you have America, then they have a baby brother, which is Israel. That's who they won't turn on. Right? That's who they won't turn on. So this paper is so powerful that it helps us get a clear understanding onto what's going on around the world with black people all over the planet, because we are in every inhabited part of the planet, you can find the trace of the black man. Why? Because we are the father and mothers of civilization. It wouldn't be no people on the planet if it wasn't for the black man. But we have been robbed, we have been spoiled, and we have been totally destroyed. So everywhere you go, the black man is at the bottom. That's a fact. But we're rising today. We're uniting today. We're waking up today. We're not afraid today. Why? Because the Mahdi, Allah in person, the Christ, is present. So we in the Nation of Islam, we don't talk to you about the coming of God. No, we're telling you he here. We represent his presence. Prophets speak from the standpoint of moonlight. They tell you about things that's to come, and they tell you about the coming of this Supreme One. But we telling you, this is out of the time of prophethood. We dealing with Satan. We got Satan on the run. And he don't want no conflict with us. He don't want to do nothing but sit behind media, sit behind agents, sit behind stool pigeons, sit behind rats that he put in power, and talk about our Father, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, and talk about his son, our Father that's among us today, that's sitting in that seat, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. But they don't want no real dialogue, and they don't even want a debate. You better ask yourself, black man, black woman, why they won't accept the challenge to debate us, to dialogue with us, because they know for a fact they can't win. Let me say that again. You need to ask yourself, why do all the detractors, why do the government, why do the rulers that be, the Anti-Defamation League, the Southern Poverty Law Center, APAC, why they can say little stuff about the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, the Nation of Islam, being anti-Semitic, but why they won't come prove their point? We can prove that they anti-black. They know for a fact they can't win in no debate with us. So they will never call the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan a lie. They might say he a bigot. They'll say he anti-Semitic. He racist. They'll tell you all of that. He homophobic. They tell you all those lies. But you have never heard them say that he lying. They have never told the most honorable Elijah Muhammad he's a liar. They have never said this. Why? Because if I call you a lie, I got to prove it if you call me out on the lie. And they can't prove it. So they can only just throw out little names. See, they like little children. Because they just got here anyway. But they like little children, little babies. So they hide behind words, and hide behind their media control. They hide behind weak, spineless celebrities and politicians. They don't want no smoke with us. So they know they can't win. But we're going to keep calling them out. Right? We're not going to stop. This is going to keep happening. And we're going to do it to the final showdown, because it got to be a showdown, because there's a new power in the world today. So we ain't submitting to nothing come out of the White House if it goes against the laws of Islam. Nothing. But that don't mean we lawbreakers. No, we are law-abiding citizens. But if you come with something that conflict with the laws of Islam, then the hell with your law. And that's why we're not taking that vaccine. And you should be wise to follow us, and don't you take the vaccine. And for sure, don't let them shoot or stick anybody in your family with that vaccine, because they can't prove it. So this paper, man, is so significant. And if you want a weekly subscription, we got a major deal going on with Fard Money Network, where you can text subscription to that number running at the bottom of the screen, and you can get a 12-week subscription to the Digital Final Call. That's less than $1 a week, where you will not only be getting awakened with the best newspaper on the planet, but you will also be supporting your brother. That's what you're doing. So it's $4 a month or $10 for the whole, for 3 months. The choice is yours how you want to do it. And every Tuesday, we're going to send you an email so you can get your digital final call. So, family, our condolences go out to Haiti, right? Major earthquake going on. They trying to get funding. So there's a lot of stuff in this paper that we need to read. United States foreign policy mess leaves fear, uncertainty in Afghanistan. They was over there for 20 years. Then we got political prisoners in prison that they don't want to let loose. I mean, just a wildfires going on in Northern California once again. So, man, people be protected. This is the day of judgment. We're going to see fires, floods, and soon earthquakes are going to hit here. We always got some in here about separation, relocation and separation, getting out of the divided states. So family, this is important that you get this paper. We got more proof and more evidence about why you should not take the vaccine. That's always in the paper, right? That's always in the paper. That's always in the paper. So you need to get this paper and study it. Read about it every week. Get it and learn all about yourself and learn about what's going on in the world. You have to look at what America is doing in Africa. I mean, what America is doing on the foreign stage, right? You got to see about it. There's always articles. NBA player has wanted to help in Africa from an early age. So we see this going on. So get it, read it. Pay the whole Israel accountable. Why? Israel, through their banking system, they run the world. That's why there ain't nobody holding Israel accountable, right? So family, we got to understand this, but we are here to help this understanding get out and help us awaken to this. Then we got the editorial, still at war against black people. New report documents in old evil. So they still at war with us. It don't matter who the president is, right? We're gonna wake up and understand that don't matter. Then we always got something here with stuff from the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. His article is always on page 19, where you can get some of his historical articles and speeches, and that come out of his books or lectures that he did. And you can also order this stuff, and you can order this. I'm talking about this eye-opening stuff, man. We got to become awakening consciousness. And then the minister article is always the centerfold, how the United States government destabilize foreign governments. You can go back and watch our Project Business is Warfare broadcast that we just did 2 days ago, where we showed one of the lectures from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan talking about the bloodsuckers, and he also went into what you see right here. He also went into that and explaining how America wreaks havoc on foreign nations, and we just don't get the understanding of what's going on. And there's always something there about the brothers that is going out with the Final Call newspaper, right? Always something there about that. So this article here, I know these brothers right here, Brother Harvey Muhammad and Brother Kamal X, they down here in Tampa with me, 7 Region in the house, right? I actually took this picture. We was in our project called Rover Park, helping waking up our suffering people with the Final Call newspaper. Like I said, I actually took that picture right there, right? So shout out to our brother Tony Muhammad, because we knowing that's how that got in the paper, right? So we got articles from our brother Jabril Farrakhan, the traveler. Man, shout out, and may Allah be pleased with Mother Tanetta Muhammad. She is the mother to brother student minister Rasul Muhammad, and also the mother to student assistant minister brother Ishmael Muhammad, and she was also a wife to the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So her article unveiling the number 19 is always in the paper, and she cracks atoms. Her and brother Jabril, ooh Lord, they're gonna have you Googling and studying stuff that you thought you would never knew, because both of them are scientists. And we also got something here about how to eat to live, because people want to know how to fight any disease. They just go to How to Eat to Live. There it is, right? How to Eat to Live. You don't need no medication. Go How to Eat to Live is always there, and you can get both books so you can understand that in full. Book 1 and Book 2, How to Eat to Live. We got Muhammad University of Islam. Enroll your child today. That is starting the fall of 2021. Because we got independent schools. Matter of fact, any independent school that's on the planet, it's become a Muhammad University of Islam that you can go and open up an independent school. Yeah, you better believe that, right? You'll hear about that later. And then we got the back page of the Final Call, the Muslim program, what the Muslims want, what the Muslims believe. You go and read that. That's on every back page of the Final Call. You can read and see what the Muslims want, what we stand for, what we're about. And then you can also see what we believe in. All right? So let's get into our subject today. So let's go. Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, separation of death. We're going to start from the exact point that we stopped at last week. Let's take a look as we go, and then we will be back to close out this broadcast, and we will talk about our Project Exodus 10,000. So if you're looking for a financial freedom plan that's legit, sound, stable, and also ethical, then get with us and we will teach you about what we're doing with our Project Exodus 10,000. We have a decentralized blockchain financial freedom plan. We'll be back, family.
Four years later, in 1985, I was in a little village in Mexico called Tepoztlan. And on the night of the 17th of September, in a vision-like experience, I climbed a mountain that I had climbed in reality several times. With me in that vision-like experience was Brother Jabril, who's here somewhere today. What you doing in the back? He's the one that told me he was alive. I said, man, this guy here. I said, he woke me up, but I think he got it all twisted, you know. But I finally saw the truth. And I could never have done the things that I've done with God's help if I didn't believe that my teacher was alive. Because everything that I have done in 40 years, not one thing have I done that was not inspired by something he put in my head that at the proper time germinated. And that night on that mountain, when we got to the top of it, it was lit. And a little UFO was coming like it was going to land on top of that mountain. And Jabril was very close to me in the experience. And I said, come on, Jabril. And a voice from that little wheel said, not him, just you. So he stepped back and I walked out, thinking that the wheel was going to land. 3 legs came out from it, but it never came over the mountain. And a beam of light came out of that wheel and drew me up into it on a beam of light. Now you can say, nigga, you crazy, you a liar. You can say whatever you want. But I'm not known to be a liar. And I'm going to show you how the white man respects my knowledge. I sat beside a man. I couldn't see him. He was the pilot. He took off at a terrific speed, and I knew he was taking me to that great wheel that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us of, that Ezekiel saw 595 BC, a wheel in the middle of a wheel. You sing the song, swing low, sweet chariot, coming to carry me home. Boy, this is real. And the man knew, who was driving the little plane, that I was frightened to see something that huge in the sky, a half a mile by a half a mile. So he maneuvered that craft in such a way where I wouldn't see the magnitude of it, and then came into a tunnel. Now I'm inside the wheel. He got up, opened the door on his side, came around and opened on my side, then opened a door and let me into a room. I saw a scroll that was rolled down with cursive writing on it. And as I tried to read it, I heard the voice of a man as a student that I had listened to for 20 some odd years. And when he spoke to me, listen to what he said. He rebuked me for something that I had gotten involved with that's in his life. And it frightened me. And he rebuked me because he said, I didn't call you up here to talk to you about that. That let me know he approved. I'm going to say it again. That let me know he approved. Then he said, President Reagan, in early September, met with his joint chiefs of staff to plan a war. He said, I want you to hold a press conference and make known their plans and tell them that you got it from me, Elijah Muhammad, on the wheel. Now he wants me to tell the enemy where he is and the kind of power that he has. See, I'm going to introduce you to the real Jesus today. Look at this now. The 17th of September. That's right. To my Muslim family in the 17th surah of the Holy Quran. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, had a night journey. He was in the tent. And everybody that was guarding him know he didn't leave the tent. But in the morning he told them where he had been. That a fast-moving barrage took him from Mecca to Jerusalem. And then took him all the way up to the inner sanctum of God. And the last person that he saw before he went in with God was Jibreel. Not him, just you, Muhammad. Not him, just you, Muhammad. And when Muhammad went in that wheel, or that special place, 1400 years ago, he was told to teach the people prayer.
That's right.
50 times a day. And that's all that God said to him. 50 prayers a day. He came out, he ran into Moses, according to this. Moses said, what did he say?
Listen.
He said, we got to pray 50 times a day, according to the history. He said, no, you got to go back and talk to him because 50 times a day is a lot of prayers.
Think about that.
Especially the way we pray. So he goes back in and troubles the God. And the God, okay, reduce the number.
All right.
He goes back out and Moses said, what do you say now? He said, that's still too many.
Listen.
So finally, he went back and the God told him 5 prayers a day. Each prayer, the value of 10.
Think about that.
Each prayer, the value of 10. Well, I went in.
Listen, go ahead, beloved.
He didn't talk to me about prayer.
Go ahead,
He told me what to tell the people that Reagan was doing. I'm coming to something now. Y'all pay attention. Then you can call me a liar, but you will never say that what I'm telling you, I can bank my life on it. Before too long, you're going to bear witness. Farrakhan is not who you think he is. A little bit more.
Go ahead.
When he said, I want you to hold a press conference, make known their plans. Listen to what he said.
Yes, sir.
He said, you got one more thing to do. And when you have completed that, you may come again to the wheel. And I will permit you to see me face to face. And he dismissed me. I got in that wheel. It went up to a terrific height and turned so I could look down on that wheel. And it looked like a city in the sky. And you all got it in the Bible, but you don't necessarily understand that there was a new Jerusalem.
Go ahead.
That's right. Go ahead.
A new Jerusalem that came down
Go ahead.
from heaven. Not something that the old Jerusalem. A new one.
Go ahead.
Look at the cubits of that new one and measure it. When I got back, the vision, when I finished and did the press conference, the experience was over. The next morning I awakened and I couldn't remember nothing. I went on about my little business in Mexico. And on the next day, which was the 19th, my wife was in the bed. I was saying my prayers a little late. But while I was saying my prayers, the whole room started shaking. I looked at the ceiling and it looked like it was water. I said, this is an earthquake. I ran to the window and I saw it was throwing the water up out of the pool. And I was looking for some place to hide. The bed was already to the floor, so I couldn't get up under there. And Khadijah looked like, it wasn't nothing phasing her, you know what I mean? So finally it stopped, and we drove, or I was driven, to Cuernavaca, where Mother Tynetta Muhammad has her home. And as I walked up the stairs to her house, to the right at the top of the stairs, there's a glass window where that was her kitchen. And that's when it came back to me, my experience. I told her, Mother Tynetta, and my wife, my experience. But Mother Tynetta saw me, and she later writes that it looked like he was in a stupor. She didn't use that word, but that he wasn't fully cognizant of the import of what had happened to him. And so we left Cuernavaca, and flew to Phoenix because I had just finished a speech in Los Angeles. Over 19,000 people in the arena, and the Jews were walking around on the outside with signs saying, "Who do you want? Farrakhan. How do you want him? Dead." When I finished in Los Angeles, I was then getting ready to go to New York. This very month, October, the 7th day, Elijah Muhammad's birthday, we were establishing that day in the nation in remembrance of him. And Jabril met me at the airport, and while we in the car driving, I told him my experience. He said he needed to stop right away to the convenience store, and he went in the convenience store not knowing that I was behind him. I seen him walking down the aisle. I'm walking behind him, and he threw his hands up in the air like this, like the words that I spoke that he was alive had now been verified. And when he turned around to look at me, I saw the tears in his eyes. And I guess we embraced, and we got ready to go to New York. His dear wife at that time was in the art and culture community, and she was like a makeup specialist. In New York, the city was hot. I mean, Mayor Koch, a Jewish man, said that Farrakhan was a black Hitler, a devil. And the Jews were marching around Madison Square Garden. Who do you want? Farrakhan. How do you want him? I'm still alive, though, ain't I? Brother and sister, Jabril and I were under disguise when we got in the plane coming to Hartford Springfield Airport. So we were going to be picked up and driven into New York under the radar because they were at the airports watching for me.
Now, he and I walked up to the counter and just bought 2 tickets under assumed names. Because in those days, you could do that. Not today. So while I'm sitting next to my brother on the plane, he said, Minister, could you go over your experience again? He pulled out his tape recorder, and I went over it. But as I started going over it, I began to weep. And I told him something happened to me while I was up there. And I made a motion like how you about to stick a needle in somebody and you rub the flesh to get it deadened a little and then pop that needle. I said, they put something inside of me and I don't know what it is, but I know they did something to me. Now, all of you, and some of us are spooky. And I understand, but I ain't spooky. This thing really went down. And look at this now. As I'm crying because I can't understand what happened to me. Oh, Lord, the time is running.
Keep going, brother. Teach them.
No, I can't do that, but I got to finish it. You know, this experience is like the Quran says, Allah is he who takes men's souls by night. And those on whom the decree of death has passed, he keeps them. But those on whom the decree of death has not passed, he sends them back to seek the bounty of their Lord. Now look, you remember when you were a little person and mama was teaching you how to pray? She said, say it like this. Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. Now you may not believe this, but when God takes a soul of somebody that he's given a mission to, he writes on that soul and sends him back. You all been watching me now for 40 years. I stand up in front of an audience. You don't see me turning a lot of notes, doing nothing. It just comes like I started today. Look, man. That God did something to me. In the Quran, on that night of majesty, did the Quran come to him in one night or over 23 years?
Over 23 years.
Yeah. But look at what the Quran says. This was the night, not in which 5 verses of the Quran were revealed. This is the night in which the Holy Quran was revealed. So God could put the whole book in a man, and under right circumstances, what he put in starts coming out as a revealed word. It took me 4 years to find out who the war was with. I mean, to deliver the announcement. I was traveling in Africa on a world tour. And the last country that I was in was a French-speaking country. Do you remember? Benin. And I told all the Muslims and my family, you go home. Because it has come to me that the war is against Gaddafi and Libya. And I'm going to Libya to warn him. Brother Khalid was by my side.
Yes, sir.
And Brother Khalid said, Brother Farrakhan, let me go and do this. Because I have not done anything significant yet. And I would rather be the one to go to jail than you. And I said, Khalid, that's a noble gesture. But I am more well known than you. So if they arrest me for traveling to Libya, which there was a $50,000 fine and 10 years in prison for anyone that went to Libya. Now, you know, I have to tell you, man, your brother ain't no punk.
That's right. That's right.
And any of you that are afraid of what the white man can do to you, and you punk out on your people, there's a punishment coming to you for cowardice. I went on to Libya. And that night in my hotel room, Gaddafi's governmental staff was in the room, and I told them my experience. They jumped out of that room so quick, they went right to Gaddafi because I told them America's going to bomb.
Listen.
They're going to bomb the airport. They're going to destroy the project, the water project. And the next day, 86 nations were in Tripoli. And Brother Gaddafi said, I want you to speak to the people before me. And right from Tripoli, I told the Attorney General of the United States government,
Come on.
a warning to leave my brother alone.
Yes, sir.
Gaddafi took the warning, got his planes out of Tripoli into the Sudan.
Yes, sir.
That time he heeded my warning. Because I'm not warning on my own. I was in Libya when the Libyan people shot down the first plane that came over from the Gulf of Sirte. An American aircraft carrier was in the Gulf. And the fight was on. Then it stopped because the wheel showed up.
Think about it.
I want you to hear me. Because, see, we got a weapon so terrible. America cannot defend herself against what my God has. And I'm saying it like that so you know that when the police got that microphone and say 1013, back up, officer in distress. I got backup. Elijah Muhammad told me there'll be two of us backing you up, brother. Allah and myself. Yes, he told me that before he left me. But if he was dead, I know he couldn't say that and mean it. So when I found out he was alive, then everything he had told me made sense. So I think I should bring this to, well, near a conclusion. From Reagan to Trump.
Come on, listen.
I want you to listen.
Yes, sir.
It's been 32 years.
Yes, sir.
32 years. And every president, including Barack Obama, has had war with some part of the Muslim world. But the thing that I said when I made the announcement, the war was on two fronts. It was a Muslim nation over there and a tiny Muslim nation here that represents a people that are under assault. So I said, the war is against black people, particularly black youth.
Yes, sir.
And the war is on the world of Islam.
That's right.
Okay. Did you know that when Nixon was president, according to Haldeman's testimony, Haldeman was in the inner circle of Nixon. And Haldeman said, there are two things that Nixon feared. The anti-war left and the blacks. Listen to what I said. The anti-war left. That's a specific element in the white community. But when it came to us, it was the whole people that he feared. So when the white man fears you, he makes moves. I warned us back then in '89
Yes, sir.
that the war on drugs was a war on black people.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
I could be very specific, but time is running.
Right.
And finally, just a few years ago, they admitted that the war on drugs was a war on our black youth.
Yes, sir.
Now I'm going to fast forward 32 years now, and we come to Donald Trump. My God. Look, y'all ready?
Yes, sir.
Trump is a very special human.
Go ahead.
Before he was elected, I told them, if you all elect him,
Yes, sir.
he will take you to hell on a rocket ship. And the war on black is intensifying. The 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay Hotel, just 32 years after my more than a vision experience, a white man breaks out the windows, got 47 guns that he got from his houses in Vegas, and he fitted them out that an automatic weapon would be made into a machine gun. And from the 32nd floor, he started shooting. Oh man, this was pretty rough. And when I saw that, I said, Father, there's something you're trying to tell me. Because the first part of October, there was an earthquake in Mexico City, like the one 32 years ago. On September, no, earlier than the 19th, was an 8.1, the same magnitude that it was 32 years ago, that brought my experience back to my remembrance. 32 years later, an earthquake. And then on the same day of the earthquake in Mexico City, it struck again near Puebla and Cuernavaca, 7.1. I said, Father, are you telling me something that I must do? See, the president met already with his military generals. And when he came out, it was the 9th of September, the last meeting he had with his generals. I know what he plans.
Yes, sir.
And I will reveal it in a few days, in the right place at the right time. I want Mr. Trump to know. You playing with a fire, buddy? But this time, it'll be the end of America as you know it. Now, wait a minute. All you that think you got hope in this, you better start revamping your thinking. Because it's time now.
Yes, sir.
Prophet Muhammad taught you prayer. But Elijah Muhammad says, it is better to teach separation than to teach prayer. Because you can pray all you want, living with the devil. And when you walk out your house and turn on the TV, he's there influencing you and your children. So your prayer that you said at Fajr is ineffective by Salatul Zuhr. We'll never be the type of people that God intends until we are separated from this enemy. Preachers, you've been preaching about judgment. Now you preach prosperity.
Go ahead.
Teach us.
And the judgment is not in your preaching.
Listen.
To my Muslim imams, sheikhs, brothers,
Teach us.
you really want to get along with these people. I understand. You want to forgive them. I don't understand that.
That's right. Come on.
But I want you to know something.
Teach us.
There are white people right now who see the end. And they want absolution from the evil consequences of what they have done. Many of them, the younger ones in particular, it's like this. The Bible puts it so clear. Prepare slaughter for the children, for the iniquities of their father, even to the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. Now, you are fathers and mothers in here. Life is short. But because life is short, there's no reason for you to live it carelessly, foolishly, and wickedly.
That's right, brother. That's right. Teach us. That's right.
Because your life and the way you live it sets up good. If you live your life good for those whom you leave behind. In the janazah prayer service of the Muslims,
Yes, sir.
in the prayer, while we are praying for the life of the one that is gone,
Yes, sir. Listen.
we say, "Oh Allah, do not make us to fall into a trial after him or her, and do not deprive us of his or her reward." What you don't understand is when you do good, good lays up consequences for your offspring. And when you do evil, you sentence your offspring. Now, some of you in here like cocaine.
Listen.
And others like weed.
Yes, sir.
That's
Where's
right.
my brother?
Go ahead.
This is the weed killer. Now, to all my weed smoking family. What? You don't think I have family that smoke weed? You got family that smoke weed. Weed is a big thing. But what he's teaching us in a scientific way of what the government of America is doing to destroy your future with God. By taking the weed in its natural state, which has great properties to be used properly.
Yes, sir.
But the enemy is weaponizing
That's right.
weed
Yes, sir.
with chemicals
Yes, sir.
that perform lobotomies.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Listen.
They used to put a needle or ice pick
Yes, sir.
in certain parts of the brain. It's called the amygdala, right?
Amygdala.
Amygdala. Yeah, thank you, brother.
Go ahead.
And my brother has made so many people angry with him. But I want you to know something. He has to teach what God has shown him to warn you of the consequences of your actions. He's pointing out members of the Jewish community who have been involved in the science of weaponizing weed. I just want you to say, this is my brother. If I were you, I'd let him preach. And if I were you, because we will hurt you if you try to hurt a brother that's trying to help you to save your life. Do you know this enemy is weaponizing mosquitoes? This man is going there to destroy our future because he knows that God is after you. I'm going to close now. The enemy wants to keep you from being accepted by God.
Yes, sir.
And with these drugs, he's making homosexuals.
Yes, sir.
Imagine one drug on TV, they say,
Come on, brother.
well,
Come on.
a male's talking to males. If you, after taking this, begin developing breasts,
That's right. That's right. That's right, brother.
stop.
That's what it said.
Then they give you another chemical. They say, oh, it's a great medicine. But listen, if you get thoughts of suicide,
That's right. That's another one. That's right. That's right, beloved.
stop.
That's right.
So you mean chemicals can so influence your process of thought?
Come on, T.
Chemicals can so affect the amygdala and the moral part of your brain that you don't know right from wrong no more? The Holy Quran tells you the devil makes evil fair seeming.
That's right.
So I think I should wrap this up with two things. And I'll be back in a few weeks in Washington. because I want to open up my experience to Donald Trump.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
And let him know what God has shown the servant of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Amen. Colin Kaepernick Thank you.
That's cool, bro. Good.
Colin Kaepernick took a knee. That brother was not trying to disrespect the flag.
That's right.
Go ahead, brother.
He was disturbed over the police killings of black and brown people outside of the law of justice. And he wanted to draw attention to it because all of the evil that we have suffered, we suffered it under the Confederate flag, and we suffered it mostly under the so-called American flag.
That's right. Yes, sir.
So Colin took a knee on September 1st, 2016, when the flag was presented and the national anthem was played. It has generated much controversy. But did you know that there's a code on how to respect the American flag?
Go ahead, Brother Minister. Point it out.
The Congressional Research Service, CRS, prepared a report for members of Congress in 2009 on the federal law relating to the U.S. flag and its display, which was enacted by Franklin Delano Roosevelt, president, in 1942. The CRS report says the flag code is designed for the use of such civilian groups or organizations as may not be required to conform with regulations promulgated by one or more executive departments of the federal government. You don't have to conform, and there's no punishment
That's right.
according to the code. Let me go on. Section 4 of the flag code covers the Pledge of Allegiance. Congress has, by U.S. Code Statute 36, yes, I want to get it right, designated the national anthem as the Star-Spangled Banner and set out the proper conduct during its presentation. Listen to this. No penalty or punishment is specified in the flag code. Lastly, the flag code is not a mandate of federal law. It does not proscribe conduct, but is merely declaratory and advisory, meaning it does not give punishment.
Yes, sir.
Let me go on.
Yes, sir. Go on.
Section 8 of the flag code is entitled Respect for Flag. And it gives all the things that are in the code of disrespect for the flag. And guess what?
All right.
One such act that shows disrespect for the flag reads, point number C, the flag should never be carried flat or horizontally, but always aloft and free. Now, is that flag horizontal?
Yes, sir.
That's disrespect of the American flag. And when my brother takes a knee and his brothers join him, the president of the United States calls us sons of bitches. Now, when I was young, say something about mom.
Yes, sir.
Those are fighting words, brother. And to add insult to injury, the National Football League and the Department of Defense,
Yes, sir.
they have been paid millions of dollars to display the flag
Sir.
in that way and play the national anthem. It leads to people joining the armed forces. Ain't got nothing to do with patriotism. They get millions of dollars from the Department of Defense for displaying the flag in a disrespectful manner. It's about money. It's about recruiting. It's about using the patriotic zeal of the people. So Mr. Trump has changed the narrative. Black people don't hate the flag as such. They don't hate America as such. But they just wanted to draw attention to what we're suffering under the flag.
That's right.
And the police that shot us down, they got a flag somewhere on their uniform.
That's right.
When we go to court, the flag is there and we can't get no justice.
That's right. No justice. None. Come on.
My son's father-in-law fought in World War II. And he saw his buddies shot down, blown to pieces on Normandy Beach. So every time he sees the flag, he stands, puts his hand over his heart, not so much for the flag, but for the noble men and women who have died for that flag.
That's right. Go ahead.
But Mr. Trump, when did your father get here from Germany? And you so-called patriots. See, when you all came here from Europe, you had a country to come home to. The Statue of Liberty welcomed you. Give us your tired, your poor. the wretched refuse of your teeming shores, the huddled masses yearning to breathe free. Send these, the homeless tempest tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside a golden door. It never was a golden door for us.
Never. Never.
The first man to die in the Revolutionary War that gave America a nation was a black man. Black folk died in the War of 1812. Black folk died in the Civil War on both sides, North and South. Black brothers have died in World War I, World War II, Korean conflict, Vietnam, and the army is full of them now. Mr. Trump, no wonder the generals are a little kind of PO'd at you. Because these same black men whose mothers you referred to in such a negative way for producing giants in the world of sport and play, you're going to be calling on them to fight the war that's you building up to now. So I want you to understand our position.
Yes, sir.
Evidently, the messenger saw this years ago.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But the Honorable Elijah Muhammad told me, he said, you can stand for the flag out of respect for a symbol that governs a sovereign nation. Because that's what you want for yourself one day, to fly your flag over a sovereign nation of your own. But we can't pledge no allegiance. You didn't hear me. I can't put my hand over my heart for you, but I'll stand. See, I don't take a knee. But see, in the prayer service, we bow to Allah. We kneel to Allah. We prostrate to Allah. We ain't got nothing for you like that. I'm not going out in front of the White House and kneel down and throw my fists up like, hell with that. Your salvation is not in the house. It's called the White House. Salvation wasn't there when they put a black man in there for you.
That's right. That's right.
It's Jesus who saves. So in my conclusion, I want to talk about my Jesus. The one that taught me everything that I know. And I never went to a theological cemetery. I mean seminary.
Go ahead. That's right.
Jesus never taught.
All right, family, man. I hope y'all. I hope you took notes and you were inspired by that. And that was a powerful, powerful lecture. So that was 22 years ago. The 22nd anniversary, my bad. I said 22 years ago. That was 4 years ago, and we are approaching the 26th anniversary of the Holy Day of Atonement. The original Million Man March was in 1995, October the 16th, and we're approaching the 26th anniversary this October the 16th. So don't know and sure what the nation has planned, but we will have something planned for you, because that is one of the Nation of Islam national holidays where we own it, claim it, and make the enemy respect it as a national holiday, because that's what free people do. That's our holiday, along with October the 7th, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad birthday, and Savior's Day, Master Fard Muhammad's birthday, February the 26th. So we are a nation. So we have our own holidays. We don't submit to no holidays from the enemy, because they not our days and there ain't nothing holy about them. But anyway, thank you for tuning in, family. Don't forget to get your subscription. So text subscription to that number running at the bottom of the screen, so you can get your digital subscription, $1 a week. And don't forget about donating to Muhammad's Economic Blueprint, www.economicblueprint.org. And if you want to join Fard Money Network and participate in our Project Exodus 10,000, send us an email at that number, at that email running at the bottom of the screen with your full name and your best contact number, and we will get you to one of our Project Exodus 10,000 events. So this is your brother, Fard MacD, Supreme X, signing off. Assalamu alaikum. See y'all at the next live stream. And we're going to finish the rest of that, because there's still about 40 minutes left to that. So we're going to finish that next week. So come back next week so we can finish it in its totality. See y'all then. Assalamu alaikum.